Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, y'all gonna have to excuse me because the boy is home from spring break, and the room that he's in is close to the one that I'm in. Even though I have my door closed, you can still hear him yelling out, stuff at people he's playing with. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're here for the review of Put a Ring on It, season 4, episode 1, and the episode name is New Doctor Who This, because as you guys know, Dr. Nicole is not on the show anymore. And it was abrupt to me because I found out because I saw Dr. Nicole's post congratulating Dr. Stacy. And then I saw Dr. Stacy's promos for it and how excited she was. So who knows? I don't know. I didn't catch what the reason was behind it, behind her moving on. But anyway, hope she's moving on to something good. But I know of Dr. Stacy from Instagram and YouTube. So if you guys haven't watched her on Instagram and YouTube, she is not for the faint of heart, okay? But she has a good personality. So this season should be very interesting. So we start out with meeting the couples. We meet the couples, and we have Joya and JAY-SHA, who it says they've been together for 2 years. Then we have Dunbar and Chance, who have been together for 1 year. That's what they said. That's what they show in the first episode. It said 1 year, and then we have, who was the other one? Ricky and Catherine. So, um, I like this picture of Catherine right here. When she went on her date, I thought they were going to go work out or something, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. But she actually looks really, really cute right here, in the promo photo. So we're gonna. They say long-term couples that are not engaged, but sometimes I think back a few seasons ago, it was people who were together longer than 2 years. So I don't know, but this should still be very good because it's always interesting to see different couples get together. And I think that it's good that they get to see other couples' issues, because sometimes you think you're the only one going through things or whatever. So they have their first session with Dr. Stacy where she introduces herself, and so we meet Dunbar, and Dunbar wants to get married now. Um and so it's Chance who really doesn't his is not ready yet. But she loves Dunbar. And so Dunbar says Chance needs to be more domestic and rub his feet. She better than me because I do not do feet. No, but I think Chance is cute. I feel like Dunbar is acting like her father, but they do have like an age difference. But he does come off as controlling how we got him in that first season. And then we talked to Joya and Jasha. Jasha thinks that they need to be married now. I'm sorry, Joya thinks they need to be married now. She wants a baby. When she said that, it wasn't clear that she already had a child, but that came out on her date with her person. I think she has an 11-year-old or something like that. But she's pushing 40, and she said it was non-negotiable on the baby. I like this picture as well. The dress is dressing, she looks good right there. So then Ricky and Catherine, they've known each other since 2012, and he's already been married, and he had a failed marriage, so he's kind of scared to do it again. And they're suffering in the romance department, and so he said he wants to take his time. But as you all know, especially post COVID, people ain't trying to waste time, you know what I mean? So they got to go on dates with other people, because they're going to have to make a decision at the end as to whether they're going to stay in the relationship that they're in. Is the person going to propose? Are they getting married, or are they going to go off into another relationship? Because in past seasons, we had couples on there that I thought would stay together, and they ended up moving on and going, being with other people. So this should be interesting how it turns out. So the women get to go on dates first, and the dudes are not happy. Okay, but Dr. Stacy says that the dates are starting that day, so they all leave and go home. But did anybody see the pubic hair commercial it was like hashtag say pubic. It was a Venus commercial for like the Venus razor, but I was taken aback by the fact that we have a commercial about pubic hair now. Like it was crazy. Now, and when I see stuff like that, I always think about, who pitched this, and I picture them in a boardroom sitting all around the table. It's a diverse, group of people in there, and they're pitching like a pubic hair commercial. So I don't know. That's just where my mind goes or whatever. But did anybody see that commercial? So anyway, so they go to Chance and Dunbar's house, and Chance actually fixed Dunbar dinner before she goes on her date. And so then they talk, and he says he wants to set some boundaries. Of course you do, Dunbar, because he feels like he's her father. You know what I'm saying? But he he wants to set some boundaries, and so her date gets there. His name is Phil. Let me see if I got a picture of Phil. Do I got a picture of Phil? Let me get a picture of Phil up. So we got Phil from New York. Okay, so Phil gets there, and in his little cutaway scene, he says if anybody picks him, they bless. But Dunbar tells the dude to take off his shoes. Which, okay, whatever, I'm in your house. And he said that's his future wife, so be respectful. And he asked Phil if he knew his father. And he said, yeah, we got a close relationship. He asked about his mother. He tells them, that he don't got no kid. He tells them, he's like, oh, you smell good, your pants not sagging, or whatever. Because Phil is probably Chance's age. And so Dunbar is just in father mode. And so then he gonna say, bring him back something to eat, and that he don't eat pork. I was like, what? Sir, you just had dinner. She just fixed you dinner. She just fixed you dinner before she goes out. So I don't understand why he did that. But they said this prayer. They prayed, and, Dunbar told Chance to hold his heart. So Chance is standing behind him with her hands around his chest. And then Dunbar is holding Phil's hands. And so he says this prayer. And in the prayer, he's like, these same hands that are praying will bless you. And he meant bless your ass. Dunbar is doing a lot right now. Okay. So then they go walk outside. He walks them outside. He checks his car out and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy. It didn't seem like it was weird, because it just seemed like a father sending his daughter out on her first date, and she was 16. I don't know. Y'all get in the comments below and let me know what y'all thought about that. Okay, so then we got Jasha and Jaya were talking, and they talk about boundaries, and he said we ain't gotta set no boundaries. So that was that. And so Jaya is going out with Kyle, who's 48. And he says in his cutaway that he's the lobster and Jasha is the chicken of the sea. I was like, okay, but Jasha was just like having a stern look. He had his arms crossed, and Kyle was just the cheesing, just like he is in this picture. He was just the cheesing. Something that's funny is that I know a bunch of cows, and all of the cows I know, they all got this shaped face. Is that weird? I don't know. All the cows I know, their face is shaped just like that. Anyway. So that's their date. And then we go to Ricky and Catherine's house, and Catherine is going out with Mark. He's 33. He bought flowers over there. He seemed like he a little comedian. He tells Ricky tells Mark that he hasn't taken Catherine out in a while, but Ricky was like real cool. He was cool and laid back. He wasn't tripping about it or whatever, but so that was a pretty cool situation. But so then we go on to see some of the dates, right? And so we see Chance and Phil. They looked good together. It looked like a good date. Chance's mom passed away when she was 8, so they talked about that. And one thing that I noticed about Phil is that he was a good listener. He was a good listener. And so then we go see a little bit about Mark and Catherine's date. And they were not going to, well, maybe they did go to work out and we just didn't see it, but they ended up going to like a smoothie bar or a juice bar or whatever. And so he made her laugh. That's really important, guys. He made her laugh. It looked like they had a good date, and he found out that she got a PS4, and he was like, oh, this bae right here. This bae. So the dudes like that. Dudes like a woman that plays. If they're a game player, they like the woman that play games. That's I guess that is something in common that y'all could do together. But I just want to know. I used to play games when I was younger, but I don't now. So, whatever. Um, but I think that Mark was previously married and he said they shouldn't have been together. So that was that. So then we go over to see a little bit of Joya and Kyle's date. And that looked like a good date too. He has one biological son, but he takes care of his son's brothers because their fathers passed. I thought that was admirable. He got points for that. Um, but then we switch over to Chance and Phil coming back to the house. They really brought this Bama food back. Like, are you serious? I would have totally ignored that. Because like, what are you doing? No. They really brought the food back though. But he said something about fries, and I was like, them fries probably cold as I don't know what. Um, but Dunbar definitely put work in that night, if you ask me, because I feel like he was at that house punching the air. You know what I'm saying? Um, so then Joya goes back home, and she told about there was a part in her date with Kyle where she took a napkin and wiped the crumb from his mouth, but it wasn't even like a sexy wipe, right? But she told JAY-SHA about that, and he seemed a little perturbed, but they got over it. So then they all meet back up with Dr. Stacy to discuss their dates. And so Dunbar acted a lot overprotective. He said he has the right to decide who he lets her go out with. And it's like, dude, y'all are in this situation because she's not committing to you right now, and she's obviously open to dating other people because that's what the show is. That's one of the key components of this show. So he gonna need to tone it down. He really is gonna need to tone it down. And Dr. Stacy said that he tries to dominate Chance, which I don't understand why he don't see that, because he knows that he pretty much said that he has to have control. But Chance does not agree that he's controlling. But that's because she's on the inside of the situation, because the other couples actually chimed in. And that's why I feel like it's a good thing that they're all having these conversations together versus separately in another room, because they need to see that, right? They need to see that other people, what other people think about it, because sometimes you just don't know that you're doing that, and the person who's inside of it doesn't always see it. So the other groups chimed in and they agreed with Dr. Stacy. And so that was pretty much all that happened in that episode. So next week we the men go on dates next week, so that's gonna be funny as hell. But you can see in some of the previews, Dr. Stacy had to get at some of them or whatever, and it looks like it's gonna be a couple that leaves and then another couple replaces. So I can't wait to see who leaves, because um I don't know. My guess is gonna be, it's either gonna be Ricky and Catherine, or it's going to be Dunbar and Chance, because Dunbar is going to end up not being able to take this. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. Tune in for episode 2. I think this show comes on after Ready to Love, or maybe it comes on before Ready to Love. They both come on Friday. So we'll see what happens. So I am your girl, DaMitaJo, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.